Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Anti-News Podcast. I'm your host, Katie Grasso, and thank you for tuning in. Today's date is August 9th, and as always, I've got 5 happy stories for you. First up, a distillery uses whiskey waste to power their trucks, a robot that cleans beaches, and a fisherman finds a rare pearl in his lunch. After the music break, the Philippines wins their first gold medal, and the Olympics uses hydrogen for energy. Alcohol has been around for thousands of years, almost as long as humans have lived in settlements. The process for making alcohol is easy to understand, but difficult to master. Alcohol is formed when yeast ferments, that is, breaks down without oxygen, the sugars in different food. Wine is made from grapes and other fruits. Vodka is made from potatoes. Beer is made from malted barley. And whiskey is made from fermented grain mashes. While many people consider alcohol to be delicious, the process does leave behind waste products. After all, what do you do with all the leftover fruits, grains, and vegetables once they're used up? Well, one whiskey company has decided to do something with all of that waste. Glenfiddich, a Scottish distillery that was founded in 1887 by William Grant, has started adapting their delivery trucks to run on biofuel created from the company's whiskey waste as part of their Fueled by Glenfiddich initiative. It's expected that this system will reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 99% compared to other fuel sources like diesel and gas, with each truck capable of displacing up to 250 tons of CO2 every year. The ultra-low carbon fuel is made from the waste products that are left over from the whiskey making process, and the company has built specialized fueling stations for their trucks at its distillery in the northeast Scottish Highlands. This is part of Glenfiddich's closed-loop sustainability initiative, and the new trucks will take care of transportation through the whole process, from bottling to packaging. Our green biogas transport fleet is absolutely in line with our brand ethos of Where Next, always challenging ourselves not to rest on our past achievements, but to always look for what is coming next, says Claudia Falcone, Glenfiddich's Global Brand Director. According to William Grant and Sons, the company that owns Glenfiddich, the annual CO2 displacement of each truck is equivalent to planting 4,000 trees per year, and the first of these trucks is already up and running. This move to green energy not only helps the environment, but it also helps save the company money too. Whatever the reason, going green is always the best way to go, as it's the best way to protect the earth for future generations. While not a whiskey drinker myself, I know that the longer you let it age, the better it ends up tasting. And the greener we go, the better the world will be as well. Surf, sand, and sun. Those are the first things that come to mind when thinking about the beach. What doesn't come to mind is the countless cigarette butts that can be found there, and just about anywhere else if you look hard enough. Not only are they the most common piece of litter out there, they also make the air quality worse for everyone around them. Cigarettes take about 14 years to disintegrate, and with roughly 4.5 trillion of them being tossed on the ground each year, that's a lot of trash, which is bad for both people and animals alike. It'd take a lifetime for a human to clean up even a fraction of all those cigarettes, but robots have all the time in the world. The Beach Bot, or BB for short, is a robot specifically designed to clean cigarette butts off of beaches. BB was created by Edwin Boss and Martin Lukart, and uses an AI-based detection algorithm which was also created by Boss and Lucart through their company TechTix, along with help from students at the Guelph University of Technology. The team used Microsoft's Trove program to teach BB how to find cigarette butts, because the program lets both developers and regular people upload photos of various items to help the robot detect them. BB has 2 cameras, one on the front so that it can see where it's going, and one underneath to scan the ground. BB was given millions of photos of cigarettes so that it would know what to pick up and wouldn't grab things like seashells. Once it's found a cigarette, it lowers 2 grippers which push the sand together, securing it so that it can be put into an internal bin, which is later emptied by a person. The plan is eventually to have BB be able to collect other types of trash, as Boss and Lucart explain. We start with cigarette butts. That's the world's most littered item. In the future, we want the robots to detect a range of other litter. The more we advance technology, the more we can hurt or heal the planet. It all depends on what we do with that technology. The invention of cigarettes may have hurt the environment, but the creation of things like the BeachBot helps clean it up. You can help it by volunteering to clean up your neighborhood, recycling, and trying to reduce the amount of waste you create. Every bit of effort helps, from the greatest, most powerful machine to the hands of one person. Around the world, what we eat for lunch is different. There's so many different options that it's hard to make a specific list of what's lunch food and what's not. For some people, having cheese at lunch is normal, while for others that might seem weird. In a lot of places, especially in fishing communities, having seafood for lunch is common, and that makes a lot of sense too. After all, if you have a lot of one kind of food, why not eat a lot of it? What isn't considered food is the rare Melo pearl, something that I've covered in a previous episode, and something that one Thailand fisherman found in his lunch. 40-year-old fisher Prasharn van Phunuan had caught a large sea snail while trawling for crabs and decided to take it home for lunch. After cooking it up, he started slicing a piece of meat off of it when he hit something hard, which turned out to be a pearl. He showed it to his younger brother, who looked it up online, and told him that it might be a Melo pearl. Phunuan said, "My family had been fishing for generations, but I believe our fate is about to change because of my lunch." The family is keeping the pearl wrapped in a cotton ball inside of a plastic container while waiting for officers from the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources and local fisheries department to confirm that the pearl is the real thing. Despite that, neighbors have flocked to the house to see the pearl. The fisherman added, "We know that the pearl is expensive, so we want to give it to the person at the right price after it has been checked." Luck is an incredible thing, good or bad. What might be the best day of that fisherman's life is the worst day of the sea snail he found the pearl in. It's all a matter of perspective, really. There are things that are out of our control, but there are things we can do to influence how things will turn out. The best thing you can do is to do the best you can with the life you've been given, and never give up, no matter how your luck turns out. However things are going, there's always time to enjoy a song, so let's go to the music break. That Was Good For You by THBD. Now on to the last two stories. The modern-day Olympics are over 1,500 years old, and during that time, thousands of athletes have competed for a variety of reasons, such as to bring pride to their country or to push themselves to the limits against other skilled competitors. The first time women were allowed to compete was in the 1900 Olympic Games, which were held in Paris, France, and the number of female athletes to compete in it has only increased. It wasn't until 1924 Olympics, which also happened in France, that the Philippines joined with a single participant. Since then, they've won 7 bronze medals, 3 silver medals, and no gold medals. That is, until the 2020 Olympics, where Hindlin Diaz finally won the country's first gold medal. Diaz is a 30-year-old weightlifter from the Philippines and has been training for this event for a long time. She had gone to Malaysia for an Olympic qualifying event and got stuck there for a year when travel restrictions were put in place. During that time, Diaz wasn't able to see friends or family and had to improvise with her training equipment, going so far as to build it herself with water jugs, even without any sort of financial aid from the Philippines. She already knew how to be self-sufficient and resilient thanks to her financially troubled upbringing. Diaz not only won the gold medal, but set a new world record with her score of 224, just a single point above the previous world record. In a statement she gave to WAPO, "I am thankful that God is using me to inspire all the young generation and all the Filipino people to keep fighting during this pandemic. To all the young generation in the Philippines, please dream high. That's how I started. I dreamed high, and finally, I was able to do it." Having a good amount of pride in your achievements and yourself is a great thing. It can help push you towards bigger and brighter things, but none of that can happen without practice. No matter how much natural talent you're born with, eventually you'll need to start seeking out new information or new techniques if you want to get better. Just keep pushing yourself, and whenever you feel that things have gotten too easy or too steady, find that new skill that will push you and make it your own. The Olympics is the biggest sporting event in the entire world. Athletes from around the world come together to participate and compete for glory and to test the limits of the human body. The country that won the last Olympics gets the honor of hosting the next one, which means that they need housing for all of those athletes. As you can imagine, all those people in one place can take its toll, both financially and in terms of energy use. The 2020 Olympics are currently being held in Tokyo, Japan. And like with the creation of the Shinkansen high-speed train in the 1964 Games, Japan is looking to take another step forward in civil planning. Tokyo has presented the world's first hydrogen-powered Olympics. Everything from a fleet of hydrogen fuel cell vehicles to the stadiums, a hotel, and the Olympic Village. Hydrogen power produces electricity by combining hydrogen and oxygen atoms, and as a result, the only waste product is water, which can be reused for a number of things. As with any new source of energy, especially renewable sources, there were some issues, but Tokyo's Research Center for a Hydrogen Energy-Based Society, which was created by the city's government leading up to the Olympics, helped to overcome them. Marie Salois, the Director for Sustainability at the International Olympic Committee, explains, "With their immense reach and visibility, the Olympic Games are a great opportunity to demonstrate technologies which can help tackle today's challenges, such as climate change." Tokyo 2020's showcasing of hydrogen is just one example of how these games will contribute to this goal. After the games are done, the village will be converted into hydrogen-powered flats, shops, a school, and more as part of Japan's national hydrogen strategy, which started in 2017. In 2018 and 2019, their hydrogen R&D was around $300 million, and one of the largest hydrogen fuel plants in the world was built in the town of Name in Fukushima. The Olympics are the biggest sporting event, but while it's easy to get distracted by the now, we can't forget to think about the future as well. By turning the athletes' village into housing and businesses once the games are over, the building isn't going to go to waste just sitting there. Thinking about what will happen after a big event is always important, though there's no reason to not enjoy them while they happen. Here's today's advice. You can't force people to change the way they think. They have to decide that they want to change. You can help guide them and help them learn, but they're the only one who can control what they think. At the end of the day, you can only hope that the decision they make is the best one for them. That's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to support this podcast, you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Google and Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker. Links can be found in the description, and until next time, remember that there is still some good in the world, you just gotta look for it. Take care out there, everyone.